The evening sun was melting into shades of orange and purple as David parked his old work truck outside his house. His body was tired after another long week of double shifts, but his heart was light. Tonight, he had one simple plan: take his prized car out of the garage for a drive. He walked up the driveway, smiling as the quiet suburban street greeted him. The crickets were beginning to sing, porch lights clicked on one by one, and for once, it felt like life was calm. His garage door creaked open slowly, revealing the sleek black sedan he loved so dearly. This garage wasn't just a storage space for David. It was his sanctuary. He had spent countless weekends inside, polishing the car's gleaming surface, changing the oil, tinkering with tools, and sometimes just sitting behind the wheel, remembering how far he had come. Little did he know, tonight's peace was about to shatter. To an outsider, it was just a car. But to David, it represented his life's journey. Years ago, he could barely afford groceries. He had worked late nights, weekends, and skipped vacations just to save enough to buy it. The memory of the purchase day was still fresh. His wife had stood next to him at the dealership, tears welling in her eyes as the salesman handed him the keys. The first road trip they took together in that car became a family story they told every Christmas. This car wasn't luxury, it was legacy. Every scratch carried a memory. Every mile on the odometer was a reminder of struggle and success, and tonight, after weeks of leaving it parked, he was ready to take it for a spin. But as the engine purred to life, trouble appeared on the horizon. The sound of the garage door opening seemed to summon her, Karen. Every neighborhood had one, and in David's neighborhood she reigned supreme. The self-appointed queen of the HOA, she lived just 2 houses down, always watching, always waiting to pounce. Her sharp eyes fell on the car, and she froze in place. Her jaw tightened, her hands balled into fists, and then she charged forward. "That's my car," she screamed, pointing as though she had uncovered a grand theft. "I just bought it last week. What are you doing with it?" David's smile fell. "Excuse me? Karen, this is my car. I've had it for years." But Karen wasn't listening. She circled the car like a hawk, her voice shrill enough for the entire block to hear. "Don't you lie to me, David. The dealership promised me this exact model. You must have stolen it before they could deliver it to me." David blinked, utterly stunned. "Karen, are you out of your mind?" Neighbors peeked through curtains as Karen's shrill voice pierced the evening calm. She stomped closer to David, wagging her finger in his face. "You think you can just hide it in your garage? Not on my watch." Before David could stop her, she yanked out her phone. "I'm calling 911. Let's see what the police think of your little car theft." David raised his voice, trying to reason. "Karen, don't do this. This car is mine. I can show you the papers right now." But it was useless. Karen had already dialed. "Hello? Police? Yes, hurry. I found the thief who stole my brand new car. He's standing here in front of me." Her dramatic screams carried down the block, echoing in the evening air. Doors opened, neighbors stepped outside, and whispers filled the street. David could feel his blood pressure rising. A normal night had just turned into a public circus. Within 10 minutes, the street was bathed in flashing red and blue lights. 2 squad cars rolled up, sirens briefly blaring before cutting off. The once quiet block now looked like a crime scene. Karen ran toward the officers, clutching her chest like a damsel in distress. "Thank goodness you're here. That man, he stole my car. Please arrest him before he drives away." David stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. "Officers, this is absurd. This is my car. I can prove it." One officer, hand resting on his holster, asked sharply, "Sir, do you have documentation for the vehicle?" David nodded quickly. "Yes, I'll get everything. Please, just give me a moment." He hurried inside, heart pounding, and returned with a folder, his license, registration, insurance, and the title of the car. Karen, meanwhile, glared at, him with eyes full of fury. By now, half the neighborhood had gathered. Kids peeked from behind parents, teenagers filmed with their phones, and older couples whispered in dismay. Everyone wanted to see how the drama unfolded. The officers carefully examined David's paperwork. Each document was official, each matched perfectly to the car's VIN number. David stood silently, his heart racing but his face calm. Karen, however, wasn't done. She threw her arms in the air. "Those are forged. Don't fall for his tricks. The dealership promised me this car. He must have hacked their system or bribed someone or—" "Ma'am," one officer interrupted, "do you have any paperwork proving your ownership of this car?" Karen reached into her purse and dramatically pulled out a wrinkled piece of paper. It was nothing more than a generic receipt. No VIN, no dealership name, not even an address. Just a vague model number scribbled in pen. The crowd murmured. Someone chuckled under their breath. The officer raised an eyebrow. The officer compared the VIN number etched on the car with David's documents. Everything matched perfectly. He turned back to Karen. "Ma'am, this vehicle has been registered to Mr. David for several years. Your paper is not valid proof." Karen's face flushed crimson. But, I ordered it. The dealership told me." The second officer cut her off firmly. "That doesn't matter. Ordering a car doesn't make it yours, and this man clearly owns it." Karen sputtered, searching for words. "You don't understand. He's always out to get me. He parks wrong. He ignores HOA rules. He must be lying." But no one was buying her story anymore. The neighbors shook their heads, some openly recording her meltdown. One man muttered loud enough for all to hear, "Karen's finally lost it." The officers turned serious. "Ma'am, filing a false 911 report is a criminal offense. You wasted emergency resources and accused an innocent man of theft." Karen's eyes widened. "Wait, you're blaming me? He's the criminal." "Enough," the officer snapped. "You're receiving a citation tonight, and if this happens again, we'll consider charges." Gasps rippled through the crowd as Karen stood frozen, her power crumbling. For years, she had bullied neighbors through HOA rules, but tonight, she had gone too far. The humiliation was unbearable. Her neighbors looked at her not with fear, but with disgust. Karen's voice cracked. This isn't fair." But the truth was undeniable. In the weeks that followed, the HOA board could no longer ignore Karen's behavior. They suspended her from her position, stripping away the authority she had misused for years. Neighbors who once bowed to her rules now avoided her entirely. Her reputation was ruined. As for David, he felt a deep sense of relief. That night, after the police left and the neighbors returned to their homes, he sat behind the wheel of his beloved car. He ran his hand along the steering wheel and whispered, "You've been with me through it all. And today, you proved the truth will always outshine lies." The garage door lowered, and the house returned to silence. But the memory of Karen's downfall remained, a story neighbors would tell for years. The lesson was clear. Lies may be loud, but the truth never needs to shout.